Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel Heading to Qatar 2022, where I discuss Qatar in preparation for you coming down to watch the 2022 World Cup, which is 5 weeks away. Man, it's crazy here right now. Like all the construction, people getting everything ready for the World Cup, and people are going to start flying in probably in about 2 to 3 weeks time. Here's hoping it all works out. Hope you got your tickets. I got mine. Accommodation is sorted out. I got mine. And hopefully we'll see you at the games. In this video, I want to discuss what will probably turn out to be the item of choice for this World Cup. Every World Cup, there always seems to be that one thing that, everyone seems to go for and they all want to buy. I think, in South Africa, what was those weird trumpets, like vuvuzelas or something like that. In Qatar, I assume what it's going to be is the headdress that Arab men tend to wear, which is called a Ghurtra and is the mascot for the 2022 World Cup. I noticed when tourists come down to watch, like if it was another football match or some other sporting event, a lot of them will purchase a Ghurtra to wear as they walk around and stuff, because it is a quintessential Arab form of dress, and it is extremely common in the Gulf. I myself do wear a thobe and Ghurtra occasionally, the thobe being that long white robe that you see Arabs wearing. Not too often anymore, but there are times I wear it. I have a few of them here at home. And so I'll just run through Ghurtras and how to wear them. So let's see, for Ghurtras, I just have some here. This is the most common one, a pure white Ghurtra. Most Qataris wear this throughout the year, as well as Arabs from other countries as well. However, you will also occasionally see a red one with a nice red pattern to it. Pretty much the red one and the white one are the two standard Ghurtras that are worn. You might be thinking that there's also a gray one, but actually no. Arabs in the Gulf don't wear that. That's typically, I'm guessing, more Palestine and areas like that. These are the two that you'll typically see. However, and let me just get it here, if it is winter, you might see them wearing a Ghurtra that's slightly off-white, usually with a nice embroidered pattern on it. This is a winter Ghurtra that is made out of fine wool. The more expensive ones will be high-quality cashmere. And of course, because it's wool, it's thicker and it's warmer for the colder temperatures. I'm not sure if it's going to be cold enough that you're going to see many people wearing a winter Ghurtra, but if it's getting chilly in the evening and maybe a bit breezy, you might see some Arabs wearing a winter Ghurtra. But for your purposes, you're probably going to buy one of these or one of these. Or hey, maybe someone's going to have like logoed ones with your team. That would be a pretty cool idea, right? And you can buy one of those. So as for how to wear one, well, give me a sec and I'll change into the first bit. Okay. So the first thing you need to do is you need to wear this sort of little hat. This is called a rafia. You can find them wherever Ghurtras are sold. These are quite inexpensive, just maybe a few rial. Coincidentally, this rafia also inspired the design for one of the stadiums here in Doha, the Al Thumama Stadium, which looks a lot like the hat I'm wearing. Sorry, rafia. So with this on, you can then put the Ghurtra on. Let me just grab the Ghurtra here. I'll show you in a sec how you should put one on. But first, I also want to get to the thing that will go on top. Now, I'm sure you are all familiar with this sort of dark loop. It's called an agal. And you have to pretty much wear it with a Ghurtra, and it helps to hold the Ghurtra onto your head. This is the most common one that's worn in the Gulf, just a plain loop. Or you have this one, which has a long tassel sort of attached to the back, almost like a counterweight. And this is more of a Qatari style Ghurtra. This is commonly worn by Qataris. It is less commonly worn by Arabs from other Gulf countries. Now, it's not an exclusive thing. I mean, many Qataris will wear a standard one like this. Some Saudis will, wear ones with the tassel. But by and large, if you see someone wearing a Ghurtra and having an agal with a tassel on it, it's pretty safe to assume by default that they're Qatari unless they tell you otherwise. If they're wearing a more standard agal, well, they could be Qatari, they could be Saudi. In fact, they could be from almost anywhere in the Gulf. But I'll get to the differences on a couple of countries in a second. Now, I'm not wearing a thobe, I'm just wearing a normal colored shirt because I assume you're not going to be buying the thobe as well. Those are a bit more expensive, especially for quality ones. So, assuming you're just buying the Ghurtra and the cap, you then take your Ghurtra. Now, usually when you unfold it, it'll be a perfect square. And what you want to do is you want to fold the Ghurtra. I don't know if you can see that. You want to fold it so that it's like a triangle. So you basically take the corners of the square and fold them together to form a nice triangle. Okay? All right? So then you take the long edge of the Ghurtra, not the corner, and you just place that on your head there. And what you want to do is then make sure that these two ends are the same length. So you just tug them a little just to make sure it's centered. And once you have it on, you then take your agal and you put it on top. Now with the agal, typically one loop is slightly wider than the other loop. You want the narrower loop on top, the wider one on the bottom. There you go. And then this one's already folded to form a nice little bit in the corner. In the middle. If yours isn't, you can do that. Tug it back a little if you want it further back. Move this forward if you want it a bit forward. And that's it. It's on. I'm not going to say it's perfect. I don't wear this every day. Now from there, you can do all sorts of styles. You can just tuck it back. Keep that like that. What I like to do with ones that have a bit of starch, like this one, that's why it's holding its shape so well, is you fold back and fold back. Tug it down a little. There we go. Make sure it's adjusted. Maybe smooth it out a bit there if you want. Oof, this isn't easy to do staring into a camera. But anyway, and we'll fix there. And there we are. It's not perfect, but you get the idea. Now, thanks to the starch, this bit here really sticks out. And I spoke to a guy one time and I was like, this reminds me of a cobra, like, a hooded cobra. And then they laughed because that's actually what they call the style. They call it cobra style. So if your Ghurtra has a bit of starch to it, then, there you go. Now, you will constantly adjust it as you move. That's pretty standard. You will see even Arabs doing that. It just says you don't even think about it sometimes. You're just always just adjusting it, sliding a bit there, let's fix it. And there you go. That's how it works. So you need the kafia, you need to get yourself a Ghurtra, and you need to buy an agal to go with it. If you're at a shop that is selling you sort of a combined Ghurtra agal, like the agal is kind of stitched in, or it's just like a little one loop thing that's attached, don't buy that. Come on, at least buy an authentic thing. It is not that expensive to buy a proper agal and a Ghurtra and a kafia. So I suggest you do that. Now, let me try the red one on now just to see. Okay, so got my raffia on, and I've got my nice red Ghurtra here. It's been folded once diagonally, so we have a very long section here, and then you have the corners. So again, you take the long section and you flip it over, and that's what goes across your head here. Tug on the sides to make sure that they're even and it straightens out. And then get my agal here, put that on. I do prefer the one with the tassel. It's just, I find the one without the tassel, when you move your head, it slides around a bit more because it doesn't have the nice counterweight of the tassel. Fold, fold. Make sure you got that little divot in the middle there. And voila, red Ghurtra. Now, like I said, you can wear it a bit looser. Typically, you just tuck it back. You can just tuck it back like that if you want. Sometimes a guy will, have like wrapped around the corner a bit there. If it's windy and dusty and, you want to cover your mouth, you can just grab the corner there. I've seen that people do that during dust storms. Good way to, just kind of filter, just kind of. So that's it. That's how you wear a Ghurtra. You will always be constantly, just as you move, kind of adjusting it here and there and moving it around. But you'll get used to it. And actually, it is a pretty neat thing to wear. Now, not every country in the Gulf necessarily wears a Ghurtra, especially Oman. Omanis will tend to wear a cap, or they will wear a cloth similar to a Ghurtra, but not with this pattern, which they will tie very tightly around their head, almost like a turban. The turban method, I'll call it, is a more formal look. Omanis casually will generally wear a cap. They will also have a small tassel on the front of their thobe. So if you see a gentleman walking around and he's wearing sort of a cap and he's wearing a thobe with a tassel, very likely is from the country of Oman. Emiratis will wear Ghurtras, much like Qataris do, but their thobe will have a very long tassel to it. And so that's how you can generally tell an Emirati. They will generally not wear agals with the long tassel here. Saudis, it's, pretty much like Qatar, although Saudi's a big country, so maybe it changes from region to region. But Bahrainis, Saudis, Kuwaitis, they all wear Ghurtras, typically white or red, or a winter Ghurtra with an agal. The thobe is white. Maybe in colder weather, they sometimes wear darker colors like browns and blues. Those are thicker thobes for cold weather. And that's all there is to it for wearing a Ghurtra. If you're interested in getting a Ghurtra, you can certainly find them at Souk Waqif. You can also Google stores that sell Arabic clothing. A lot of tailors will sell these things. You can drive by, you might see shops that have thobes and Ghurtras. You'll be able to go there to buy them. But if all else fails, you can always go to a place like Souk Waqif. They will have them available for sale. I hope this helps. Hope you're thinking about getting yourself a Ghurtra and a agal, maybe as a souvenir of the World Cup. And we'll see you at the World Cup. Bye.